Hi guys, I'm going to do a really quick video today. I'm thinking about starting a new series, and tell me what you think about it in the comments down below. I'm thinking about doing a product technique or tools, or product tools technique. That's it, product tools technique series, where I just kind of compare what it is that can accomplish the job that we're trying to get done. Whether sometimes we need to focus on using the specific product, or if it's really the tool that we use, or is it the technique that we use. And today I wanted to kind of look at some glues for a couple of reasons. One, I love the Tombow Mono. I absolutely love that glue for many reasons. The number one reason is because it has this property that you can put it on, and I kind of like smear it on something, and then you just let it sit for like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and it becomes repositional. It just stays tacky. It never completely dries in that situation. So I use it to take, to put on the back of my red rubber cling stamps so that they'll stick to my blocks better. However, the same property that I love about the Tombow glue is what I hate about it when I'm putting on these sequences, because you see that little hole right there in the middle? It never dries. So dirt, cat hair, whatever sticks to it. It stays tacky to the touch. It's just what I don't like. I can never find art glitter glue. Everybody talks about art glitter glue. They're always sold out every place I go, so I haven't tried it. I might one day. So I decided I was just going to use dollar store 2 bottles $4 glue. But what I run into with that is a lot of times with paper, the amount of glue that comes out is just too much, and it's too wet, and it causes your paper to wrinkle up. So here is the letter D. My children no longer use these little sponges for playing around with paint, so I've repurposed it to help spread out the glue. This exact glue is in this bottle. This bottle has a precision point. I was able to get like 10 of these bottles for just like, seriously, $2 to something, $3 off of Amazon. I can't remember, but it was literally just $2 or $3 if I bought it. So I put that glue in here, and I've actually been playing around with it for a couple of months, and I love it. I love the way it works, because the amount of glue that comes out of here is just enough that it won't cause paper to wrinkle. So, and then here I have my Tombow Glue Pen, and you've seen me use it before. A lot of times this is what I use to do my sequences because of the Tombow Mono liquid being tacky. So we're just going to kind of play around with some of these. And the first thing I'm going to start with is the sequence thing, because I feel like it will probably just need a little time to dry. So I'm just going to put some out here and just try a couple of different things. So I'm just going to put a spot of glue here. And as much as I love this glue, it doesn't always like to play nicely with me. And it's probably a little bit much, but honestly, I can't get it to come out any smaller than that. So, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to bring it up closer. You can see that little dot of glue in the center. That is never going to dry. But it will hold it there. And then the Tombow pen. Oh, see, that one's working nice. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get started, but that one just went beautifully on. It goes on clear. And all of these glues, every one of them dry clear. So that is a plus. See how tiny of a dot? See, you get the precision tip, you get a tiny dot. This is just regular old school glue. You know what, I'm going to do that a second time because I want to be fair. And I actually kind of put a little bit more Tombow than I normally would have. So I'm going to put a little bit more of the school glue in there and kind of, there we go, press it down. Press it down to kind of make sure that it pokes out the center like the Tombow did. And then what I do here is I just put a little dab on here. And this is so easy because when I'm done doing my crafting, I just run this under the sink faucet while it's still wet. And there we go. It just comes right on off. Oh no, I did have one more. So, now as you can see, that was way more glue than needed, but I wouldn't actually use this technique for sequins, but there we go. Setting this aside. Now, I wanted to just take some very thin, like this is cardstock. It's much thicker. This is just very thin paper. And use the different glues for it. So, using just the regular school glue, you see, if I left it like that, it would wrinkle this paper so badly. So you could just put some of that on, spread it out, and glue it into place. And with it being glue, you still have some time to fuss with it and move it around and get it straight. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do something with these pieces, but I'm just going to give it my best. And then the precision point. Now the cool thing about the precision point is it comes out so thin that I can just do that. I don't necessarily have to do the sponge. And put it on next. And because it's not so thin of a layer, I've actually got a little bit more wiggle room than with this, because when you use this, it just starts to dry so quickly. And then the Tombow Mono. See, and that comes out even just a little bit thicker. I'm going to do that in just a second. That comes out just a little bit thicker, so I kind of end up squeezing some and then just swishing it all over the place. And then I would never use this pen to apply paper. It's not what it's made for. So I'm not going to do that here because I just simply wouldn't do that. Okay, so now we have the 3 papers here. Now, the mono, because I went a little bit thicker with it, I don't know if you can see it, but it's bumping up just a little bit. It will dry flat. That's not going to be a problem. But all 3 of them did a really good job getting these papers down, and they're not going to come up. So all 3 of them worked well for that. So now, let's see if I can get a comparison here. I'm not going to waste paper. I'll come back to here. So with this one, the mono versus the tool, the precision squeeze bottle. You see the difference in just the line it creates? The precision tip bottle really is the only one I've seen that can get that really super thin line. Now, like I've said just a second ago, is I would just take this and without squeezing it any further, I would just do that and kind of spread it out to get that nice thin layer. But we're just going to do that, and I'm going to put this glue pen down here. There we go. And we're just going to give that a second to dry so that you can see that they do all indeed dry clear. And then the only thing I do with this is just make sure that I put this lid on it so it doesn't get clogged up, or you can take a straight pen from your sewing kit to put it down there and clear it out, and then pop the lid on it and it will be fine. The same thing with the mono, you kind of have to do that. And see, and that's another thing. Now, because I've done that, because I've cleaned off this tip so that it will come out again when the time is ready, my fingers will be tacky until I wash them. So I will end up with, after a while, whatever color paper I'm working with is the color that my fingers are going to be. And then, like I said, I would just take this when I'm done to the sink and rinse it out, which I'll do later. Okay, so let's see if these have had enough time to dry. So this was the mono. It's on. Which one was this? The glue pen. It's on. And both of these were done by the precision tip. And you see, they all dry cleared, and then this is the one that I smeared it on with the sponge. So the center's all dry clear. But see, look, it is still tacky. The center of this is still tacky because that's the property of mono. Tombow Mono. I can't get it. But if you had Fill-A-Vision, you would see it is still just, it's tacky. There's no tack to that one. No tack to those. No tack to that. So these are still dry. So we're going to give that a second. These are completely dry. And they all did fine. I mean, the paper's not warped on either side. So it all glued it down just fine. And I'm still going to just give this a second to dry, and I'm going to show you a project that I did. Now, I did this project, and the entire project I did using the school glue, the dollar store white school glue in the precision tip bottle. And I glue I bent the corner just now, but I glued this on, and it ain't going anywhere. And I have 17, at least the last time I counted, and they're not going anywhere. You see, they're just. And I did this card about a month ago. So I have to say that given that these will all dry clear, let's see, the pen is already dried. Here we go. This has now reached what it would call tacky and repositional, so I could take this paper and I can put it down and rub it really good, and I can pull it back up and it doesn't tear either on my paper. And I can put it back down and press it down, and it ain't coming off, and pull it off. So that is the cool thing about the mono, is that this will now, it's just going to be tacky. It will never ever ever dry better than that. It will stay clear. You see, it will stay clear, and I can even use the dark side on it. See, there's no glue on here. It all stays here. So it will dry clear, but it will forever remain tacky to the touch. And you can see that the school glue is drying clear. and you can see it there, and you can definitely see it. These are clear sequences. So it dries clear and it dries matte. So that is my first episode of product, tool, or technique. Give them other things a try. Dollar store glue and a really cheap precision tip bottle so far has been the best glue I've ever used for crafting. I will keep this always. I love it. I love that it's repositional. I mean, it's still doing it, you know. I love that it's repositional, but it is not the best glue for the sequences. But as you can tell here, this was the last glue we did. Once you bind two pieces of paper together, once it binds, see, that's not coming up. If I was to force that up, which I can't force it up. So you see, it binds. This seam is not going to come off. Oh, that was done with the school glue, but anyway, it binds. But if you let it air dry, it stays tacky. So if you want to just use this glue, it will be fine to adhere your papers together, but I wouldn't use it for sequence. The school glue dries clear, and the Tombow pen, they both work fantastic for sequence. And I can't remember how much this cost, guys. I bought it a couple of years ago. I can't remember how much it cost. They all work to keep on sequences, and these suckers are not coming off. So anyway, there we go. So, product, tool, or technique? Tell me what you think in the comments. See you later. Bye.